Hello there.
Hello, how you doing?
Great.
How's your week been, man?
Week's been great.
Yeah, same here. I made some mistakes, but not too big to not pretty much too big to worry about. But yeah, for the most part, my week's been pretty good. I mean, the weekend's almost here, so hey, it's something.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's been up?
So, I got something in the mail.
Cool. What is it? What
Uh,
was it?
it's it's for the upcoming Greater Manchester mayoral elections.
Oh wow, you voting or
Oh, no, no, yeah, that. The voting's on the 2nd of May.
got you. All right. So still deciding.
Yep, looking pretty strong so far. But of course, this year it's not just a year. This is the election year. So whatever happens around half of the world, it's a big deal. It could be a
And
massive change.
hey, man, yeah, that's true. I mean, it is election year, and yeah, I'll be honest, I might not vote at all because I don't know. It's like ever since I heard that, my vote doesn't really count, and all, I'm like, is it really worth it?
That's a good point.
Is it really worth it to vote at this point? I mean, I could vote, I could be under the delusion that I believe that my vote counts, but in reality, does it really count, or do people just at the top instill someone in that they want? Like, if America wanted to, they can literally get rid of the whole voting thing tomorrow, and they can just instill someone that they want. Like, for instance, they can instill Michelle Obama. you know,
Yeah.
so it's yeah, like they can pretty much do that. But yeah, other than that, like my week has been pretty decent. I mean, I was supposed to do last night I was supposed to do something called a comedy night. I had dad jokes ready on like some guy's stream, but it didn't happen. But hey, I'll be honest, I'll be honest, it was cool though. Probably would have been fun. I would have just told my jokes and left. So hey, huh.
But even if you feel like your vote doesn't matter, it's still important to have your voice heard. At least it gives people an idea of what we want from your nation. What do we want from society? It's still important to speak out and use your voice whenever you can.
That's true. It is important to use your voice and speak out. Um, yeah, that is important. That is true. But I'm just like would it really matter? Would it really matter for anything if I voted, or is it just a waste of time?
Yeah, it could always be worse.
That's true. It really could, and honestly, really could be worse. But for the most part, it's not yet. It's not as bad yet. But I know that as the world's going to continue to get worse. I mean, you could just pretend it's going to get better, but it's not. And I mean, some things will slightly get better, but the world's just never going to be the same as it used to be anymore. I mean, I came to that realization.
True.
Yeah, like I really just came to that realization because, it's not, it's the truth. I mean, and it is what it is. But the one thing that keeps me, the one thing that really keeps me good is me saying this simply: things have to get worse in order for it to get better again. So it's like we have to go through certain things in this life in order for things to get better again. Because at the end of the day, man, you never really know. Things just might turn around tomorrow or next week, next month, next year. It doesn't matter, but things will continue to get worse until it gets better again. I mean, people.
Absolutely.
I mean, people will, push out their ideologies until they can no longer push it out anymore. I mean, you know, but I am grateful for the times that we live in because it's fairly easier than the times our grandparents or parents grew up in. I mean, it's just a more convenient time. Especially with all the technology and all that. But at the end of the day, you also have to realize, man, it's like you have to realize, man, like you know, the world is just dying. It's destroying our world. I
Yeah,
mean, so you know, that's pretty much how I feel about it. If I'm being honest with you.
yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but you know, for the most part. Oh, right. I do have a job interview like next Monday, so that's good.
Okay, that's something.
That's something. I'm pretty sure it's just another summer job, but I think that's all I need in order for me to like get done what I want to get done. You know, for the time being, I believe that's all I need.
Yeah,
Because I'm not gonna lie, that's low key been like a common theme, bro. It's like I mean, there are some jobs that I get that aren't just in the summer, but like for the most part, my all of my jobs have been in the summer, and only the summer. I probably could have stayed at my older job from like last summer, but I'll be honest, I didn't do a good job. I really didn't. Like the guy, my boss was so nice. So like he was so nice. I'm really surprised I didn't get released earlier because I did my job, but I was doing it really slow.
well, that comes to show that if that is the case, that shows that standards in the workplace has really dropped significantly in the last few years. Like, they'll literally take anyone. Doesn't matter how hard you work, as long as you do your job exactly as expected, it's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a summer job. I probably could have gotten full time, but I pretty much exceed to like the 3 months that I was supposed to work there anyways. So I pretty much exceeded that those 3 months. So I can't necessarily say that like after 3 months he was done. I probably could have gotten full time. I probably could have gotten full time, but at the same time, I wasn't really expecting to get full time.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, but it was a good job though. I just don't like cleaning. I can only do it for a certain period of time, but then after that, it's like I just can't see it as something that I'm willing to do for the rest of my life. That's simply about it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, I know certain people can do it, but me, I don't like cleaning. I don't. But I can do it I can do it for a certain period of time. I just want to do something that because I don't know how certain people can. I'm just saying I don't really know how certain people can like do a job that they don't like. I really don't. I mean, I get paying the bills and all that stuff, but like it's like how do you physically, how do you do that? How does one do a job that he does not like for the rest of his life? I guess he just think. I guess if he has a family, he just thinks about them, and that's what motivates him to do it.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a family, bro, what's your motivation to doing it? To get money?
And what are you going to do with that money once you get the paycheck?
Drink? Spend it on like not spend it on nonsense, drink, smoke it up.
Possibly drugs, perhaps?
Exactly. So it's like here's the thing, it's like there's really no real substance to it. I mean, like I mean, if you're doing a job that you dislike, I get it because like family and all that stuff, especially if you have a family. So it's like you kind of have to suck it up in a way until like your kids get older, and the best thing you can possibly do is just like encourage your kids to follow their dreams or go to college, whatever you want them to do. That's really all you can do so that they won't have to be in the same situation that you were in.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
absolutely.
I can't necessarily say that. I don't really know what today's climate of parents are like, but all I know is like it's either single moms, some single fathers, or maybe on rare occasions like it can be a two-person household. But it's either like both a man or a woman, or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman. It really just depends, I guess.
Yeah, anything goes.
Exactly. Like pretty much anything goes. So it was like you never really know. I mean, and it really I gotta say, like, it really just depends, like, and like, pretty much like, how you raise your kid is like based on determines how their future is gonna like, go. Like, will they do certain things just for the sake of money, just for the sake of getting by, or like, will they have integrity and not adhere to like, the world, or like, what they should do, and instead work hard on what they really want to do, you know? Obviously, like, I mean, the easy way is just like the easy way nowadays is just like, doing porn, or like, or like, becoming a prostitute. That's the well that was always the easy route, but like, it's just more hypernized, if that's even a word, hypernized. Hypened, or pushed out. Yeah, let's just say pushed out, like nowadays,
Yeah.
and it's more glorified. I mean, it used to be shameful to do that, but now it's not. I mean, people like take a woman, take that woman for example, who tried to expose Kai Cenat, bro. She was proud to like say, oh yeah, you paid me for sex. She was proud of that. I'm like, what? Like, do you have no shame at all whatsoever? Like, people just
Thing
don't have.
is, the thing is, women believe they have it easy. Anything, what if a woman's life goes so horribly wrong, they can start an OnlyFans and pervy, horny men just watch their videos, and the woman gets paid thousands of dollars each month. If a man's life go horribly wrong, the only option, sadly, is to off themselves.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I mean, wait, hold on. Can you say that last part one more time? I just
Uh,
want to hear.
if a man's life goes horribly wrong, sadly, the only option left for them is to off themselves or kill themselves. Because what, how else is a man's life going to get better if they're at their lowest point? For them, it feels like that's possibly an option that's most likely happening to them. They can't start an OnlyFans like a woman would, because people expect women to be dressed provocatively, and of
Yeah,
course, yeah, that's all I have to say.
yeah, exactly. Like, I agree. Like, a man cannot start like, an OnlyFans just like a girl can, because, well, for one, who you gonna attract? I mean, like, not you'll probably attract people, but it's probably gonna not be the audience that you want to attract. you
Yeah,
know, but some guys, like, just put that aside, and like, hey, if I'm making money, I'm making money, and it's like, even there's some guys who don't have shame. So it's like, I mean, me personally, me personally, I would want to attract women, but I know most women aren't gonna pay for porn. So it just is what it is, man. But I'm not gonna lie. I probably was never gonna do it anyways. But like, I like, before I found Christ, man, I was considering. I was like, could I do porn? Maybe I could just put on a mask or something. I don't know. Cause I could have, but I wasn't going to. I would have never, like, I honestly would have never done that to begin with, because it's like
what if
I just
your
end up
mask
deleting.
accidentally comes off?
I'll just delete the video then,
Because yeah,
or
that's
just
it. That's
or
over.
or just blur my face, something, anything.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I always thought I used to think about that a lot. I'm like, maybe I can just wear a mask or something. I don't know, just do this, do that, or just, I don't know. Maybe after work, maybe like, after work, I could just like, do this. Not even for money, just for fun, But no, I never did that. Well, never really wanted to do that anyways. But it was just a thought in my head. But at the end of the day, you know, wouldn't have been easy.
I guess so. Yeah.
Also, I don't know how. Also, like, if you're wearing a full mask, I don't really know how I can accidentally fall off. Like, if it was like one of those like eye masks, I can get it. But like, if you're wearing a full mask, I don't know how that can accidentally fall off.
Yeah. It just just stays on, then you're pretty much safe. It's good to go. You can be incognito doing porn for the rest of your life and make some bank.
True, that's true. So, anything else in the news?
Uh, I saw a post on Instagram and I sent the picture on the chat. It shows a town in Poland. Before it looks kind of run down and murky, but after it's been revitalized and reborn with classical-esque details and architecture.
Oh, yeah, you did. Oh, yeah, I did see that. That's pretty nice.
Yes. So it just comes to show, even today, you can still you can still construct or revive classical, beautiful architecture because it brings peace to one's mindset. Unlike the structures, brutality, the blocks of skyscrapers. Oh, it's insulting to me.
I mean,
Good grief.
yeah, I'll be honest, man. Like, it looks like a very peaceful town that I would live in, man. It looks small, it looks simple, and yeah, for the most part, man. Like, who wouldn't want to be in a town like that?
I agree.
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, you can still do these things. Here's the thing: you can still do certain things of old, just make them new. Pretty much, you just make them new again. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Like, we can bring back like old things, and that's really what I wish that like we were able to do in terms of like cartoons, in terms of like just shows in general, and even like to an extent the city as well. I wish we can bring back the old things that used to be good. Like for instance, like man, I have a Bluetooth record player, bro, because I just wanted like I don't know, bro. I've been feeling like such an old head recently. I guess like I've been really just letting my old soul just like take over, you know. But for the most part, man, like I just want to bring back certain old things, bro. I want to be in an old fashioned relationship, man. I want to just have my girl with me, man. Like cook for me, clean the house, and then I go to work, earn the money, then hang out with my kids, play with the toys, and maybe climb some trees with my son. You know, wrestle in the yard with my son. Then then call it a day.
Yeah.
Sadly, I doubt that's going to really happen anymore because most women, well, there is some, especially
But
not
at
in New
least in
York.
the Western
At
world,
least not in New York. You have to go to freaking the likes of Texas, Houston, Nevada,
Yeah,
maybe the
Alabama. You
Middle
have to go to
East,
all the
if it's
western
good
states
enough.
because you're not going to get that in
Personally,
New York
yeah,
unless you're going to church,
yeah. I'll be honest.
and
I
even
am.
then to an extent.
You know what? I actually found like I actually found a church, but like I have to keep going to it for like probably a month or two to see if it's good because
A
so
new
far.
one.
So yeah, like a new one. I found a new one, but like I'm not going to it this week because I want to take my mom to another church that's in my old middle school because my mom liked my old middle school. She liked it, so like I want to take her to that church, and it's
Yeah.
that church is decent. It's decent, but it's man.
Yeah.
The one I went to this week, it was pretty good actually. I mean, plus, the person who was preaching, he told a story about his like grant. He told a story about his like father and how he was like this tough stern war guy, and he somehow relayed that story back to like the Bible too. And I'm like, wow, it was both an entertaining story and you know I was
a
able to
cross
learn something.
reference.
Yeah, like yeah, yeah, like a reference too. And he said his father would always like, laugh at like, war movies because he's like, ha ha ha, that's not real. Because he's been through it in real life. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I would probably laugh at it too. If I was if I went to real war and I saw real people getting killed and like I'd probably laugh at that too, if I'm being honest.
Nobody truly understands what they actually go through. If we're being truly honest, right? It's not the people from Vietnam, right, and the people in WW2 and WW2. The people in Vietnam, they didn't have anybody to talk down, debrief, and basically just shoot the shit with, basically after it, to basically just discuss that mental trauma, right? And they went back into civvy life quite before they even could figure themselves out. Well, back in World War II, the people, the veterans, right, that fought in World War II, they had enough time it took them a while to get home. So they had enough time to chat with their command, with the troops, basically chat with the people they fought with, and they were able to just think down, meticulously, basically just understand what they just did, and break it down.
Yeah, that's true. And, you know, I think he said his father was part. I forgot what war he said, but I think it has something to do with like. I think it has something to do with like something like that. I forgot what war he said. I forgot what war he said his father was a part of, but all I know is like, you know, he said like, you know, he was drafted as like a teenager because he's not from the country. Like half the people in that church, like, you know, aren't necessarily from New York. And, you know, they said I was the first New York native to pick in that church. So I was like, you know, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I wonder how they feel about literally all everybody coming, tons of people coming to that country, unvetted, all that, realistically. Because even the people that came here legally, right? Even they've got a question. It's on all sides.
I
The
assume
illegals that came here illegally, even they question. They shouldn't be letting people come in that quickly. Like Musk is someone that came here legally, right? To America legally, right? And even he agrees that, but he wants more people to be able to come to the country, but not at not at the stakes of basically security.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you know, there are people who definitely should not come here legally. I would assume that the people at the church, like, you know, obviously came to the country legally. I would assume that because once again, they came like they came from these people who came from various backgrounds. But you know, not gonna lie, the first service I was there too, man. Like, you know, felt because their whole motto is like, you know, a home away from home, and their like churches are international as well. And I'm like, all right, yeah, this feels like a home. Like, you know, it feels like a home away from home, even though I'm not technically away from home. I'm in New York, but you know, yeah, for the most part, you know, I I'm even part of the group chat also. I'm even part of like another WhatsApp group chat too, man. I mean, you know, for the most part, you know, they're very welcoming and you know, they're just like you know, I got to keep going though to like, you know, see how I truly feel about it because like, you know, I it's easy to just say good things when you go there once, but you know, I should definitely keep going.
Yes.
Because
What, have you heard the guy from Australia, from Sydney, Ari Emmanuel, the Eastern Orthodox
Oh
bishop?
yeah, that man.
He's been calling out the states. There's reasons why they came after him. He called out the COVID-19 thing. He called out the LGBTQ people. He called out Muslims.
oh dang,
The guy was going fucking hard. When you realize it, he basically said that they were the people of Islam. They don't worship. They they worship a false idol, and it's true. And he basically laid out logically. You believe in something that happened, a book that was written 200 years after Muhammad.
I think 600 years actually.
Or something like that, right?
Oh, 200. Oh, it's like 600, like probably 300 or 600 years after Jesus.
Yes.
After?
Yes, after Jesus, 600 years after Jesus, and I think 200 years after Muhammad was even alive.
Ah, yeah. W logic, man. I mean, like, you know, he spit nothing but facts. I mean,
then you've got the people, and then you've got, and they say, but what test? And then Macy is basically saying there's eyewitness testimony written in the Bible. Effectively, his apostles.
I mean, yeah,
apostles that stayed with him, lived with him.
I mean, yeah, I'm reading it right now, man, and like, you know, there are actually eyewitness testimonies, like, you know, of people who actually saw Jesus walk this earth, and so yeah, I mean, you know, like that's really all I need to hear. It's like, you know, but you know, there are some Muslims who would say like, you know, oh, they're not real. They didn't really write the book, but I'm like,
How
I
do you
mean,
know that? How do you know that the fact that I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be this might be critical, but I don't think Islam's a real religion. I don't think Judaism's a real religion. I think Judaism is basically based on devil worshipping. Like the book, the Talmud is basically a book about the devil, about basically a ritual about demonic, basically. But they're both. I think they're both books that basically Bibles are to lead people astray. In the Bible, it says do not believe in false idols, but they proclaim Muhammad and peace be upon him as an idol,
yeah,
as God, and that.
and I would say based on like the Muslims I've seen, and there's some Muslims who don't do this obviously, but like based on the Muslims that I've seen, bro, like they put Muhammad over Jesus at times too.
They say Muhammad's no. They say Jesus is a prophet, but a prophet of what? Like you don't believe you believe he's just this ordinary man. But
Yeah,
don't you think it's funny? Don't you think it's funny the fact after the Saudis supposedly helped Israel helped Iraq, basically defended Israel, right, from Iraq, right? There was the two of Saudi Arabia's airports started flooding.
wow.
Yes. They're going to say, oh, it's climate change. No, it's cloud seeding.
And
you were manipulating the weather. You were trying to play God with the weather. And the weather told you to go fuck off. It gave you a warning sign.
And I'll say this also, man. Like, as for like, Jesus being a prophet, he's like, Jesus is a prophet. He's a good teacher. He's all these things. But here's the difference between like, Christianity and every other religion. They only acknowledge Jesus Christ as like one thing and one thing only. And that
I don't like the fact that they acknowledge a lot of these people, a lot of the Christian sects, right? I don't like the fact that they recognize him as the sole God. And there is some of them that recognize him as sole God, when realistically he's not God. He's someone he's a prophet, an apostle, and a prophet. He's someone that leads. Basically, it's someone that tries and guides people, but he's not God. Like
I thought this. Here's the thing. I thought the same thing like a month ago too. I used to just call him simply the Son of God, but after reading the Bible and even reading like the scriptures, he does say that he is God in the flesh. I even prayed about it too, and I got confirmation about it. So yeah, he does, like in the Bible, like it is prophesied that he is God in the flesh. Like he is God. He's not only the Son, but he is God. That does sound like, don't get me wrong, I can see why that sounds confusing. I do.
it also does, yeah.
I can understand why that's a bit confusing. I didn't get it for a long time, but I do somewhat get it. And even in Matthew, like chapter 1, verse 23. Let me actually go to it. Let me actually go to it too. Yeah, Matthew. Yeah, verse 23. It says, Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us.
Is that actually the name of him? That because the way the word for Jesus in certain thing is Yeshua, at least on the speaking through Hebrew, it's Yahshua. But again, when this translated, is that the actual name of it, or is that literally just the English translation? That's the question, because some of the names in the Bible, they're not exactly the names; they're just English translated versions or names that the English came up with. Like the Greeks replaced, I think the Greeks and Romans, they changed a lot of some of the names of it and that of the stuff.
I would have to do a bit more research on that, but like for the most, I would have to do a bit more research on like that specifically. But God, I'm sorry, Jesus is like is Yeshua, and
the Hebrew man, yeah,
that's
what the Hebrew thing.
And the Father is either Jehovah or Yahweh. But yeah, it's very.
There are chapters in the Bible that they banned. Book of Enoch.
Yeah,
the chapter that talks about angels, talks about freaking giants, talks about the filth. That's basically Enoch is effectively talk about the monstrosities of the world, basically, and before the Book of Noah. This is basically before the Book of Noah, and effectively before before Noah goes on his ark, and they basically change. Basically, everything gets reset, effectively.
Yeah, that is very
Enoch.
interesting, man.
Enoch. So what else is there to dive into? You
Well,
said
I
something
guess,
about AI in that, with Meta's AI as a special guest.
huh? Well, I mean, in other news, I guess Kanye West was named suspect in battery report. He allegedly punched a stranger for grabbing his wife Bianca. Apparently, but that's all. That's pretty much all I see.
I'm pretty sure that's what any man would do.
Exactly. I'm pretty.
You touch someone else's woman, do you expect? No offense, but if you tried that with someone from the Muslim world, they would punch you.
No, they would.
They would.
But I'm gonna be
Any
honest.
man would.
Exactly.
These balls.
Any self-respect, any self-respecting man would, who really cares about his wife. I'm not gonna lie. Kanye definitely has a type, man. I mean, short, developed, and yeah, he has a type, bro. Like, his wife
is he
looks
still talking about the Jewish bankers and how they rule the world, or is he kind of calmed down on that?
Not that I've seen. I think he has. I think he has calmed down. I think he has calmed down.
I think he can't. He's either been freaking cloned, or he calmed down because he realized, if I do this, what do I gain from it? Or they're holding someone hostage that he loves. Maybe his daughter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because they can legitimately do stuff. They can legitimately do stuff to him, or his kids.
More likely his daughter, because let's be real here. Kim has sold herself to the Matrix, or the system.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I think that his daughter, the oldest, what's her name? Not Miss. Dang, what's her? I forgot her name, but I think that is.
I think it's mainly the.
I think she is his favorite. She's their favorite. I forgot his daughter's
Why are
name.
they showing this?
Showing what?
A national disgrace. Photos leaked of horrific January 6 prisoners abused, tortured 5 months in isolation in a closet room with light on and a bucket for a toilet. Where are the ACLU, Amnesty International, the beginning of concentration camps in the United States? The abuse for the sake of abuse. January 6 political prisoner Ryan Samuel has been held in prison without trial since January 2021. He is claimed to be beaten, bruised, and tortured, and neglected since his arrest.
Dang. Dang, that's crazy, bro. Beaten?
The worst thing is, apparently there's... I can't remember if I sent it in the chat or not, but this police officer, basically was chatting to someone at the airport, right? And he basically said, confirmed this. I'm probably not supposed to say this, but there are sleeper cells in the sleeper. There I think were 50 America has found 50. The police have found about 50 Al Qaeda members in the United States.
Oh,
and there's a bunch of sleeper cells, effectively waiting to get orders.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about that. That's the biggest. Nobody talks about that.
No one talks about anything that's big that's happening.
Or the fact that literally it wouldn't surprise me, because even then it wouldn't surprise me, because let's be real here, a lot of them look like they're just waiting for the call.
Risk. I think you would agree. I think I've been watching some clips from Nick Fuentes, bro. I think you would kind of agree on his takes on how white people white people are though.
We're about to be eradicated. It's blatantly obvious, and if anybody can't see that is we're about to be eradicated. Well, our race is about to be eradicated. There's no way things are going, because effectively it's not our generation we have to be worried about. It's the next generation. These people are having so many kids, right? They're going to outbreed us. White people are not having enough kids. They'll outbreed us. The Muslims will outbreed us. I'm not fucking first to say it. Like America, and they'll do it to America as well. Like, look, the Muslims realize we cannot take these guys militarily, but we can take them ethnically.
I'll be honest,
Bruh, I'm actually
What it-
impressed with their strategy, man.
aren't
They
like
realize there's no point in fucking trying to take down the UK by force through weaponry and death. Why do that when you can effectively come into their nation, slowly over time, outbreed their population, and take them ethnically out by the virtue of reproduction?
I'm not gonna lie.
We should have done this. This is the British people conquered people through trade. The British conquered people through trade. Americans conquered people through war. The Middle East is conquering us through through reproduction. We conquered through trade. America conquered through war. And they conquered basically through sex. It's mad.
That's
I'm
crazy.
not gonna lie. if we're having mixed race, wouldn't black people technically go extinct too? Or
Effectively, if you don't keep your numbers up, effectively, yes. I think that's the plan. Because let's be real here. What logically, why did they make us all take the vaccine? Because they plan it ethnically. The elites have said there's too many people on the earth. There's too many people on the earth. There's too many people on the earth. Every fucking bastard WEF conference, every freaking time Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab and this freaking eugenist lunatic goes on stage, and these people, there's this Chinese-looking motherfucker basically said, "We want to make it so humans are allergic to meat." When people say this type of shit, I take them serious, and I think everybody should. These people are messing and playing gods. No one should be tampering with our food supply. Nobody should be tampering with the weather.
Bro, they want to be gods so bad, bro. It's just sad.
Like, they're tampering with the water. They're tampering with the food. There's someone that basically bought a banana, right? They looked at the banana, right? They questioned it. It doesn't even. It was so hard. They tried to pull a banana apart, right? It was extremely hard to. And there's people thinking there's clearly something in this thing. They've clearly filled it with something. Whether it's some type of freaking antibiotics.
Okay, so pretty much it was hard
Rothschild Dynasty and 3 World Wars, a rare 1967 recording.
Wait, it was hard to peel a banana?
No, pull it out, right? It looked. I saw a video. I think I put it in the chat. But it's like they were talking about, like, my mother bought this banana, right? And she thinks this banana doesn't even look real. Or it looks like, she was thinking like this looks like synthetic, or it looks like it's something that was made in a lab, because it was extremely hard to break apart, right? And even at the ends of it, it didn't look like it was it looked like it was grown in a lab. It didn't look like it was actually real. It looks like it was genetically modified.
I could say that about like many other fruits, like grapes.
Many foods, yes.
Yeah, there are some grapes that look like they weren't naturally grown.
The thing is, with like the thing with the Chinese, it's like the Chinese, man. It's like the Chinese pretending to freaking make a certain type of pig or pork, right? They change the color with artificial dye in that, make it look like a certain type of rare type of pork, right? So they can freaking slab on that extra high price. And this has been proven. The Chinese do this. It's quite creative, in fact. It's quite creative the ways they go and try and freaking scam people out of money. I'm sure the freaking American corporations or British corporations would probably take hints and probably do the same thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't even think half the steaks that we eat, right? I question if half of them are actually real, and they're not literally just artificially grown in a lab or GMO. Because all of our food's GMO. We don't have any real bastard food. We haven't had that in years. That's the reason why most of UK people are fat. It's portion sizes. and the stuff that they put in the food. It's
Yeah.
also the fact that literally it's basically food full of chemicals. And that's
And
the reason.
very
You look at
harmful
photos from the
substances.
1940s and 1950s, and you compare to now, you realise they were skinny as fuck. And what the fuck happened? You compare us to them. Like, really, I've seen photos. I've seen photos of London. I've seen photos of New York. And then really differently.
No fat person in sight.
Well,
And
what else?
even if it was a fat person, it was probably just a guy with a pot belly, but that's about it.
Yes.
Probably from like beer.
I don't think. Yeah, I honestly do not think. Yeah, supposedly the left are complaining. They're going after the whole like Disney, Fox, Warner, like freaking sports network type deal thing, where they basically want to create a new streaming bundle that would effectively be anti-monopoly, would practically be a monopoly, and be anti-competitive. The left's going after it. Basically, I personally don't think that Disney's new sports bundle will even pass regulatory approval. Despite honestly, I believe it would be anti-competitive like Paramount and Comcast, or even Netflix, or even YouTube, or even Lionsgate. I'm pretty sure even sued them. So, what do you think is going to happen with World War One and World War Three? Who have you got for World War Three? And who's the teams?
What do you got, Jame?
Well, to be honest, firstly, it's already happening. We're in it right now.
I know we are, but whose sides?
I was getting to that. So, unlike the first two world wars, there are multiple battles and multiple sides. So, firstly, we have the situation in the Gaza, and then go on.
Where you've got America and you've got UK basically coming to the aid of the fucking Israeli state. You've got father and son coming to the aid of Israel. Britain considers Israel its own fucking child, like it considers America its own child.
Yes,
You've got
especially the Bowel Law
and then you've got
agreement.
son trying to save brother. And then you got good old Uncle France trying to get involved. And you got then you got brother Saudi Arabia getting involved as well.
Not yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
No, I mean I'm pretty sure the UAE and Saudi Arabia and the UAE are on the side of Israel. They equivalently put it. They are.
Oh yeah, they're doing trade deals, so yeah, I would see that.
Saudi Arabia is on the side of Israel, right? Yeah, they complain if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, then Saudi Arabia gets a nuclear weapon. What about for safety? What about the nuclear weapon that Israel fucking has? Nobody talks about that little penny hole. And even America's telling Israel, back the fuck off and do not retaliate against Iran. Whether they do or not is the question. So you were saying other sides?
So yeah, so Gaza Strip, so US, UK, Saudi, UAE, native Israel. The second one is the one that you already know about. It's Russian Ukraine. Sadly. Oh well.
There's a lot more people that are probably on the secretly on the side of Russia. They do not want Ukraine. They do not want Ukraine in Europe. I don't think Hungary wants Ukraine in Europe. And I don't honestly think that the EU wants Hungary. I don't honestly think the EU wants Ukraine in Europe because I think they realize that's a fucking red line nobody wants to cross.
Yeah, and especially if Ukraine does get accepted to be part of the EU, their population would probably outnumber countries like Germany, Italy, France, Spain, and so on. That Ukrainians would have a bigger majority in terms of members of European Parliament over many other small nations, because the way that the
How
European
do you mean
parliament,
that? Ukraine's not even a country anymore. Ain't half of their fucking men dead? They're basically sending freaking women and children into war now.
Not the women.
There's supposedly a video. I'm not sure if it's a Russian propaganda or not, but there's supposedly a woman in the fucking fighting in world fighting in the Russian-Ukraine war, and she was pregnant, about to give birth. Who knows? But you were saying over teams.
so yeah, and there's a third one that this is the one that no one, and I mean no one, ever talks about. It's the
Okay.
people against the New World Order.
NWO.
You will own
So
nothing
the resistance.
and be happy.
Yes.
You will own nothing and be happy. You will
Nobody
eat
ever
sea
talks
bugs.
about the BRICS. Nobody talks about BRICS either, though. Barely. They're a powerful bloc.
That's
half
because
of bloody OPEX in BRICS.
the reason why people doesn't talk about BRICS is because of some of the nations that's part of it, they are strong opposition to the Western nations. And if they get their way with BRICS, well, there's going to be a shift of power globally.
Even India is objectively and doesn't agree with half the fucking shit that the West wants to pull. Even India. I think Pakistan should join BRICS as well. I was thinking, when the fuck is Vietnam going to join BRICS? Because Vietnam's supposed to be becoming a very powerful hub for trade and investment.
Yeah, especially with the population growth too.
Yes, Vietnam could be a very big country, a very powerful country, and they could be. No, what about? They could be a very powerful country, Vietnam, and it's supposedly communist, but it's not communist. It's communist as China, right? They've kind of slowly but sure. They're not big fans of China, I don't think, but they do. They basically think the enemy of my enemy is my friend, effectively. Nobody talks about Africa uniting into one continent either.
I wonder why.
That's yeah, it's a very puzzling question. That's very complicated indeed.
There's supposedly this new I can't remember what country it was, but there's this new prime minister of Africa basically telling France, get the fuck, none of us want you in our countries anymore. Fuck off. Effectively, this youngster, I think he's 25 or something like that, got elected as the prime minister of like freaking Eritrea or something like that, an African nation, not a big African nation, but a semi-decent African nation. That's pretty big. We're sicking the people that are our father, the people we do not, as the next generation of Africa does not want to be like their fathers, being at the behest of France with your neo-colonialism. Effectively, France was able to keep their empire by simply having them use their currency, and basically forgiving them, not allowing them to having their own economy. So who wins World War III? So what sides are in World War III? Who's the big teams?
Well, there are three battles to acknowledge. The first battle is in the Gaza Strip. The sides are one side UK, US, France, and Israel.
Half of fucking
These are
Europe, half
they
of
are
the
the biggest
Europe,
players.
half of the leftist countries like EU. Germany is probably involved as well.
Yes,
But
however, the main nations are US, UK, and possibly France. Those are the nations that's the biggest benefactors to
Canada's
Israel
also
for
another
now.
one as well, but not as big.
Yeah, but not many people talk about that.
Yeah.
And then the opposition to that is Palestine and Iran, as of now, because
You
I
have
don't see many
Iran,
people speaking
Syria,
out.
Iraq, Lebanon. Most of the Muslim countries. Indonesia, that's another one. Is Indonesia a powerful country?
Oh yeah, they have hundreds of millions of people, so
Would
they're
they
big.
be a smart? Should they join? Should they join BRICS? Because Indonesia is very big, is very friends with Russia.
Yeah, I think that's likely.
Not to mention, they're very good friends with Russia.
And they
Vietnam's
have
good friends with Russia.
and Indonesia has a huge grasp on the sea trades. Most parts of its country is in the middle of very busy shipping routes, so they can take advantage of imports and exports of goods to other nations across
I
the
think it would
sea.
be great for. I think Mexico should join BRICS. Imagine having a BRICS country right on America's border. That Mexico joining BRICS will be like Ukraine joining fucking the EU. In my view, I think
Yeah,
it's very likely because Mexico does not want America on their soil. Well, technically, they're still partners and they still do trade, but I don't think they want them invaded. I don't think they want American troops trying to eliminate the gangs. So, what about where does Japan and South Korea stand in this war?
well, for now, they are just,
Neutral participants.
yeah, they're just observers. They're
I
not doing
personally
much.
wish America and UK would just fucking stay out of the Middle East. America lost $9 trillion pissing about in the fucking Middle East, and what did they fucking have to show for it? 2 years after Trump left, they effectively took power. The Taliban took power again.
So, is Japan still having problem with the birth rates?
Every country is. Why else
Almost.
Why else do you think we're bringing in the fucking immigrants or the illegals? We're not doing it because of lack of trying.
We're not doing it because of the.
We're doing it because of the freaking. They're bringing them in because they want to ethnically cleanse us. The fact is though they think that they think the American women, right? They think the women will actually want to shack up with an illegal though. That's a funny thing.
I mean,
The ones that apparently
Now-
have no form of consent.
now a guy would probably shack up with an illegal, but
But I doubt the woman would. Let's be real here.
I mean,
Especially these people here. Let's be real here. They have from their world, they have no form of consent. They affect. I wonder how the conversation will say, "No means no."
but from my country, no means yes.
You've also got to remember,
Let me stop.
certain women feel unsafe with literally with these people because they feel like they feel like when they walk downtown, they feel like they're being stared at like they're in the freaking most shadiest part of a freaking in like a really rundown mall in like freaking India.
Actually,
when people are trying to buy goods.
Imagine if a girl's like no means no, but then the guy spoke Spanish. He's like ¿qué? He's like,
It's not even Spanish. It's more like the third world. They're trying to import the third world that have no recognition of our culture, right? Can probably barely speak English. Don't want to work.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie.
Like, how the hell
how
the hell can you build a country with that?
Exactly. Now, I will say this: like, I'm pretty sure a guy would not mind, like, getting with an illegal.
No, of course they wouldn't.
I would.
I think a woman, a leftist woman, right? Especially a modern day woman, right? Especially in these countries, in the Western world, she has too much high standards. This guy needs to make $100,000 a year. He's got to buy me nice handbags.
Hey, look, man, they're doomed. Then, like, look, you're just gonna.
Yeah, they're doomed.
We're doomed.
You're
You're gonna have to compromise to an extent. Like, come on.
They're not willing to compromise, though. They think they've been treated since birth. They've been treated like, oh, I'm a princess. I'm gonna be able to buy a Lamborghini mansion. Lamborghini. You should hear some of the delusions these people think, especially in these liberal cities. In LA, they have no form of actual real life. They think, oh, I'm going to end up like one of the fucking 1%. They think, oh, I'm gonna grow, and then they realize the world. They're expecting a guy that's at the top of his game, right? Why would he go after you when he can get a bitch that literally is thinner than you? She's younger than you. She's more prettier than you. In all the right places, and she's intelligent. Why would he pick you when he can have? Why would he pick? Why would he pick the plain Jane when he can have the Ferrari?
You know, this is completely unrelated, bro. But
Okay.
I've said this before. The moment, like, you know, they let, like, the moment, like, you know, they let, like, transgender people, like, meaning, like, you know, women who think that they're men wrestle other men, or women who think that they're men wrestle men. The moment they let that into, like, mainstream wrestling is probably the moment I'm gonna stop watching wrestling.
There's young kids, right? High school age, right? They're protesting. They had enough shit, enough of this shit in Dakota, right? I think it's Dakota, right? Or it's Nebraska, right? They're sick and tired of these people that literally pretend, these furries, right? Acting like these furries, right? Effectively biting them, chewing on them, shitting in litter boxes.
Ew.
And they basically protested outside. I think I tweeted about this yesterday, right?
Yeah, it's like,
Protested about this shit, right? It's
if I was their age,
when's enough is enough. These people need to. I even said at this point, shouldn't Child Protective Services be called at least
if I was their
against all the people that are basically furry? Like,
if I was their age, man, I would not want to be taking a piss in the bathroom and then watch another person.
yeah, someone's litter box.
Right. Exactly. I'm not gonna
Why?
want to watch another man poop in a litter box, bro. Cause
I don't think it's men. I think it's mostly women. But
ew, all right. If I was a girl in high school and I'm trying to use the bathroom,
people are now identifying as gender season, which means your gender is connected to and can change depending on the season.
Bro, that's so stupid. It sounds like astrology.
We have a serious mental health crisis in this country. I googled it. Transgender. Did you mean mental illness? Question mark. Man, if Google said that, then damn.
Wow.
And what would their
That is how the terms have tabled.
Do you agree that BLM and Pride flags should be banned from classrooms? Yes. They should never have been in classrooms. The only flag that needs to be there is the flag of the said country.
Exactly.
Remember where you're from, where you're in. That's all you need to know.
The American dream is eating burgers with a white picket fence with your family.
I thought it was be able to own a house,
enough.
own a car, and basically be able to have children.
Oh yeah, that too. And with a white picket fence. And
They always said the American dream, right? The American dream's dead. Trump even said it.
The American dream is dead.
So what is glyphosate?
What is the American dream now? Change your gender, chop it off. Is that the American dream? The new one?
No, it was Utah. Yeah, Utah.
Oh, what happened in Utah?
Students walked out in Nebo School District in Utah.
Yeah, Utah.
Protest the school for furries terrorizing other students. Students claim that the furries bite them, bark at them, pounce on them without repercussion. However, if they defend themselves in any way, they get in trouble.
Yeah, Utah.
It's supposed to be a Republican state, isn't it?
Yeah, Utah is a Republican state.
The fact that that's happening in red state is concerning.
I'm pretty sure Utah is where the Mormon Church is also popular too. So I mean, they're kind of a religious state.
Most states are religious to an extent. Most, especially the red ones. Not all of them, but most of them. Florida to an extent, maybe not Florida as much, but they're people with common freaking sense.
True that.
Florida turned red years ago because they realized what the policies that you do. The reason why Florida turned red was because it's full of old people, right? It's full of people that literally, old and young people, right? But mostly retirees, people, right, that had wealth of experience, came from probably Republican states mostly, because most people, apart from the liberal hive mind mindset that think, but all fucking Republican states are fucking poor, which I doubt that's the fucking truth.
True that.
They say all Republicans are poor, right? But I doubt that. Most conservatives are probably rich people because they're smart people. They're logical. I doubt that most.
What were you gonna say, Riz?
You there?
That
I think I
yeah.
just saw a video of this guy, of this chick basically robbing a guy, robbing a store.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
So what else is there?
The biggest secret that our government and those who run the world are hiding from you. Every person on Earth could have an endless supply of food that provides perfect human nutrition and costs practically nothing quite easily. How is that possible? Well, imagine there was a plant that could grow in nearly any soil on Earth that only required a relatively small amount of water and grew like weed and contained 100% of elements required for perfect human nutrition. Not only that, but the nutrients contained were in ratios that would allow it to be a complete food source for humans, meaning a person could eat nothing else for their entire lifetime after nursing and having perfect human health. Second to good to be true, right? Well, not only does such a plant exist, it's one that you're almost certainly heard of. That's just one small problem. Nearly every government in the world has made it illegal for the average person to grow this plant. It is the only plant in the world that has ever acquired such a status. Why is it illegal to grow? Because if people could grow it, human hunger, malnutrition, nutrition, as well as countless other issues we're afflicted with, would be completely solved in 5 years. The hemp plant can grow in very rugged soil, including soil, and that little else can grow. It grows very quickly and needs minimal care and relatively small amounts of water compared to most plants we find. It's the only food known to mankind that by itself alone can provide 100% of nutrition required for perfect human nutrition in the proper ratio for it to be a perfect complete food source. I'm sure tons of trolls are going to reply with this and say, I'm making this up, whatever, anything can go research for nutrition. Right, humans. People are evil. Breaking. Yesterday, a US only 155 mm shell factory went up in flames. And today in the UK, same thing. A fire has broken out on a military plant in the US. In Scranton, Pennsylvania, that has been producing ammunition, including artillery and metal shells for supply to Ukraine. Massive rockets, a Welsh factory of the biggest defence contract of the UAE.
It seems that Tate the Talisman is on Team White.
But Andrew Tate.
No, I think he was talking about Tristan, but yeah, I think Andrew Tate is on Team White too. I think
They are, but basically telling us we need to have more kids.
pretty much.
Or we're going to get eliminated. But how can you have kids with someone that literally, with people that do not only want one and will not willing to negotiate?
Get out of here, Lee. Okay, yeah. Love you too, Lee. That's it's no one. Courage. Get in here. All right. Anyways, yeah, we just need to have more kids, man. That's about it.
Yeah.
Man. I don't know when that day is gonna come, man, but I think once I have
Can all Baptist A Haitian migrant who took the life of his two roommates in NYC used Biden's CBP One app to enter the US with the program. He didn't have to legally cross the border. He was granted entry to the US and given a work visa. Program is an attempt by the Biden administration to get border crossing numbers lower. 95% of applicants are approved instead of illegally crossing future asylum seekers and fill out their information on the app and be pre-screened. Once again, why hasn't Mayorkas been impeached? Quite honestly, because the Democrats control the country.
True
And the
that.
guy, Britain, Israel informed us that it will respond by attacking Iranian territory, and we support it. We sure as hell do not support it.
I thought you were gonna say I thought you were gonna say we sure as hell do.
Why would I support freaking bombing of Iran? I don't see the reason for that. I quite honestly think everything that's coming to, I think America's getting exactly what it's coming to, especially the UK.
I don't see a reason
They
for a lot.
freaking striked. They striked the freaking the Britain and America striked freaking Iran for no absolute goddamn reason.
I don't see a reason for a
Then
lot.
they're basically begging Iran, please do not freaking retaliate. Please do not retaliate. Because they realized, holy fuck, we smacked a goose, smacked someone that's willing to actually fucking fight back. I can actually fight back.
I don't see a reason for a lot of things.
The thing is, America and UK haven't fought someone they can't bully in the better half of the fucking millennia since World War II. Or especially, how about this? Especially since the Soviet Union collapsed, America and UK can basically go on butchering campaigns unchecked. There's nobody fucking else that's going to stop them.
True that.
The fact that they got Russia and China, the fact that they can actually fight back, right? We know that half of Europe is practically vassal states of America and UK, right?
Word up.
Effectively. Brussels is a fact. They're not going to admit it. Like, who would admit the fact that I'm a vassal state of America and Britain? Who would honestly admit that? We know Canada's a vassal state of the UK. We still control them. We know Australia's a vassal state. We still control them. Have you seen the shit that America and UK have been able to get out, concessions they've been able to get out of Australia? We've practically been able to get them to build us a fucking nuclear submarines on their dime. When can we get rid of Justin Trudeau?
Soon. Not now, but soon, perhaps. I think Canadians are starting to wake up now that the state of the country is in desperate need of proper repair.
I would be quite honestly, if our government was better, I'd quite lovingly bring.
What were you saying?
I would personally, I would personally love to have Canada back under our thumb. I would love to have Canada back under a British rule. And I mean, I would love for Britain to basically have it as an extension of territory. I think it's about time that Britain have more land. I'm quite happy to give Quebec to. I'm quite happy to let Quebec be its own freaking independent state if it wants. To the extent, I'm quite happy for Quebec to have its own state, and I'm quite happy. Would love. Jamie, what do you think the chances that Canada will become part of UK again, Britain again?
Very, very unlikely.
Really?
Yeah, look, I know it would be great and very beneficial for Canada to have the support with the UK as once was, but I don't see much support for Canada by Canadians to want to go back to the old days.
I don't see much support for Canada the way it is right now. I don't think they can live. There's people worried about how the fuck am I going to pay my rent next. I don't think that's the major issue.
Canada's housing crisis is one of the worst I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Canada's food crisis is the worst I've ever seen. And so their fucking bastard carbon tax. They're paying truckers and employees. People are paying like all their wages, because of their carbon tax, all of their wages are being paid to tax. 2K is being paid to tax out of their carbon tax. The fact that anybody can live in Canada and still survive is beyond me. So what do you suggest? Do you suggest that Canada gets taken in by America and just add the new territory in?
I think there has to be some kind of reform. There has to be some way to generate GDP again. Yeah, we could get some foreign aid every now and then. However, if being reliant on foreign aid, then what happens if that's cut off? What is there for Canada to spend on its sectors?
Could focus on its domestic energy. Could start scaling up its energy. Could
Yeah,
using its energy.
yeah,
Could
focus
start
on
building-
its own
could
their own services and goods and export that to other nations. I mean,
could
how do
start
you
as-
think
could use their
China
export-
is?
could use the. Here's another thing that Canada could do. Right, they could start building up ports. They could start building up shipping ports out in its Asian out in its Atlantic territories. Right, on the ocean, basically in its ice bits there. They could use that as a shipping port effectively to transport. Use that as a shipping lane effectively to transport goods and services. Right, using Canada's freaking like basically the white ocean, basically the ice bits that Canada owns, right? They could start putting up harbors and ports there, effectively good for basically shipping and all that. So they could use it as a way to basically transport and ship all across the world, effectively being used as a shipping port. Or they could create something like the Suez Canal, because America and the US is in America, Britain, and after half of Europe is in desperate of a new Suez Canal. So what other ways could we do to vitalize Canada?
Financial sector?
No. We can't have Canada having its own financial sector. Come on, Jamie. The British have to rule over them financially and economically. In America, America's not
look,
going to have a financial sector.
Yeah, I understand that the UK needs to have its grasp on Canada, but if Canada wants real change for the better for its own people, they have to sustain themselves.
They can sustain themselves, but they should. I still think they should have kept the fucking British pound as their fucking currency.
Yeah, I think British pound is a lot more valuable than the Canadian dollar.
I think they should have kept it.
Or at least have the currency pegged to it.
Power for us.
Imagine if we had a Canadian guy on our team who didn't know about this.
What, the fact that literally Canada's a vassal state?
Yeah.
It is.
He's like,
it's between a fucking warmonger on the left and a warmonger on the right. You've got a warmonger near Russia. You've got a warmonger next to it in America. It's basically a freaking warmongering sandwich.
True that.
So, what do you suggest to fix? Or how would you fix Argentina?
Honestly, focusing on developing our own domestic products and sell it off to other nations. It's the easiest go-to, because how do you think China has trillions of dollars in GDP and has generated so much profit and developed mega cities? The money had to come from somewhere, and China gets a lot of its money from exporting stuff to other countries, even us.
Yes. They should start selling. Should set all of South America. Should all the tinier states in South America combine to one country? Peru's in South America, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
So at this point, most of South America, apart from Brazil, shouldn't all that just be its own separate country? Shouldn't they just combine into a country?
I think a couple of countries such as Colombia, Ecuador, Panama, they were all part of one country at one point, but of course that broke off because they had differences. So, I mean,
What
it
were
is
the
part. I mean,
differences?
if they want to, they can. But of course, this is going to get broken up after a few years.
True. Wikipedia co-founder criticized the site, says it has slid into leftist propaganda. This is coming from the Wikipedia co-founder. It looks like they're trying to. It looks like they're trying to impeach Mike Johnson, the Republican House leader. So how does the whole Russia-Ukraine thing end?
Well, I think it ends until, well, never. Sadly, I think I've sent something in the chat. There's a saying by George Orwell. Let me just find it.
What do you mean yeah.
The war is not meant to be won, it is meant to be continuous. And even if there is a conclusion, nobody wins. Because there has to be sacrificed
Russia
until
wins.
everyone is satisfied.
Russia won. They've seized some territory.
Yeah, but Russia didn't. But even when Russia's put the military into Ukraine territory, originally they did not want to take over the Ukraine. They just wanted to convince Ukraine to not join the West. That's how it got started. But of course, I know people are going to say Russia wants to take over Ukraine. However, if Russia wanted to take over Ukraine, they could have bombed Kiev and take control of the whole country by now. But of course, they don't want to do that. They don't want to take over Ukraine. They just want to tell Ukraine, please don't join the West. Please. It's simple as that. Because there's two clear sides to this. There's the West with the US, UK, and so on, and there's the side with Russia and their allies.
Anti-vaxxer nurse who injected up to 8,000 elderly patients with salt water instead of COVID vaccine walks free from the court in Germany. She probably did them a fucking favor. We now have illegal immigrants working in the care sector. They all from overseas. They are not even in the stage where they've had paperwork checked. Some of them have no paperwork, and they've been released in the community. If this doesn't scare you, you should ask yourself, why not? Yep, scary.
I'm just not surprised.
Lake and Riley murder suspect released over lack of prison space. The guy that murdered a woman, basically, at a university. Yuval Noah Harari, senior advisor to Klaus Schwab, left. We see the creation of a new massive class of useless people. What do we need so many humans for?
Things will only get worse until they get better again.
Called
Yes.
politicians and bureaucrats and organizations such as the WEF and so on. Let's get rid of them first. Rapper Sexy Red admits she sold her soul.
Yeah, I heard about that. And I'm not.
She's not the only one.
Yeah, I know. Obviously,
60 billion for Ukraine, 14 billion for Israel, 9 billion for Gaza, 4 billion for others, 0 for border crisis, 0 for veterans, 0 for opioid epidemic.
But I'm gonna be honest though, Sexy Red's music is terrible. It's just bad.
BlackRock is now on TikTok.
Really?
What?
What do they post on there?
Well, looks like BlackRock wants to control the narrative. Too bad for them, the internet never forgets. Oh, such innocence, such youth, very fresh, much normal, no evil, happy face. In 21, BlackRock owned 11%, Vanguard owned 10%, State Street owned 7% of all 500 companies in the US. Now they probably own more.
BlackRock is on our side though.
BlackRock owned 11%. That's absolute fucking lies, right? That's Black. How much does Black Vanguard own just in one company, right? One investment firm, right? Then you're not looking at the other investment firms, right? But literally, BlackRock owns more than one company, right? That has shares in said company, right? So instead of 11%, they probably effectively, if they add their secondary the secondary account, right? They probably have 15%. You need at least 20% to take over a country or a company. Dutch political commentator Eva Vlaandebroek on the West plan to impose a personal carbon allowance connected to digital ID under the guise of tackling imaginary climate change. And this is how they'll get you. You do not. Guys, did I tell you about the fact that literally they've got stuff in cars right now that can stop you from driving? Right? Did I tell you about the whole thing in Germany? Right? They're trying to stop people from driving on a Saturday or Sunday.
Why?
In Germany.
Why?
Climate change, apparently.
It's not a good excuse.
Oh wow, that's a new one. Clap, clap.
Yes, they think there's too many people on the roads on Saturdays and Sundays. The funny thing is, though, let me pose the question: how the fuck is the fucking freaking delivery drivers that bring the food to the supermarkets?
How are they going to deliver
or
food
the
on the
people
weekends?
that stay up at midnight to fucking keep your lights on and fix people's toilets at midnight, buildings and government buildings. Or quite honestly, how about the police officers that have to stay up 24/7? Or how about the nurses as well?
Well, unless there are exemptions for those kinds of people, I'm not sure how this is going to work to keep
Patrick
the country
David
functioning.
says Neil deGrasse Tyson's a moron.
Well, that's a bit of a bold move.
Why is Space Warlock talk about vaccines like he's an authority? Google's fired 28 employees and arrested 9 who staged a sit-in which was protesting the company's $1.2 billion cloud contract with Israel. So when could dimming the sun save the Earth? Bill Gates wants to spray millions of tons of dust into the stratosphere to stop global warming. Critics fear it could trigger calamity.
Well, if people are so concerned about climate change, why are the bills, policies, and initiatives to change the climate
I'm in
more than it
California
already
for
is?
work. I filmed what it is just like driving out down
It doesn't make sense.
a busy street in Oakland. It looks like a fucking third world shithole.
If they're worried about climate change, they're doing what they can to change the climate to whatever they think is
But they don't
makes
talk about the
sense.
fact that China is the freaking biggest net contributor to freaking emissions.
Yes, because there's so many people in China. But of course, at least they're doing what they can with reducing emissions. And like, for
Israel
example,
just destroyed 4,000 embryos in a fertility clinic in Gaza. They want to limit the next generation. Israel just destroyed 4,000 embryos in a fertility clinic in Gaza. Looks like they're trying to destroy Palestinians.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
This is Olga Rezkanova. She's a Ukrainian blogger. Here she is in a war-torn Ukraine, out to a nightclub and exploring the capital city of Kiev. See how devastated by war and poverty this struggling nation is and how desperately they need American taxpayer aid. $500 million for Ukraine, 700 for Hawaii fire. Make sense. I'm giving the relentless tax and free speech. Given the relentless tax and free speech, I am going to fund a national signature campaign in support of the First Amendment. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we?
I think we've discussed more than enough that needs to be said.
Speaker of the House is next in line to be president after the VP. Allegedly, Speaker Johnson is going to leverage his dwindling power in order to change the rules of the House just to maintain his authority. This happened in banana republics, not constitutional republics. Protested demand Google cancels $1.2 billion cloud contract with Israel. Fucking hell. I'm actually
crazy.
not sorry that these people lost their jobs.
Who lost their jobs?
Bunch of Google employees, right? There's one looks like a complete lunatic.
Would you expect Google employees to look like Chads?
No, I didn't expect them to look like dorks.
I mean,
President Trump says he will not send any money or weapons to Ukraine and will end the war with Russia within 24 hours if he's re-elected. He'll fucking give Putin whatever he fucking wants. He'll say, look, keep the fucking territories you've got. We'll pay you $1 billion. Fuck off. We're done. We're good. Dunzo. Breaking Israeli settlers now banned from Republic of Maldives. We don't want your money with blood on it. Little Maldives has imposed ban on Israel settlers entering the country in response to Israeli genocide in Gaza. So here is what. Spain. Interesting. Spain and Slovenia officially recognize Palestine as an independent state. Spain's not a tiny country. Spain's still powerful. Spain's a big country.
I think this is it for the episode. It's been great.
Great. Bye.
Cheerio.